Tech cocktail session.
Cool. All right. Thanks for the introduction. So my name is Anthony Montalbano from Detroit, Michigan. I've been, yeah, love it. Yeah. So I've been working. These lights are really bright. Do you mind if I step down? Holy cow. All right. I'm just gonna walk like this so I can see you guys because it's kind of crazy. Yeah, as long as you guys can see me, I'm going to walk a little bit. But okay, so I've been working with a lot of startups in Detroit for the past couple of years, and it's been an amazing experience so far. And the thing that's happening in Detroit is actually quite magical. And I thought I'd share a little bit about what's happening in Detroit, and then also, based off of the things that I've seen so far here with the downtown project, I couldn't help but notice the parallels of what we're doing in Detroit and what you guys are doing here in Vegas. So I thought I would kind of outline some of those parallels with you, share you guys what we're doing, and then maybe open up for some questions. So I moved to Detroit a couple years ago. I'm from Michigan originally. I've grown up there my entire life and went to university there and everything. And I've moved around from Ann Arbor and eventually made it to Detroit. And when I came into Detroit, I used to always go to Detroit just for sporting events or concerts, and that really was all I did. And for the most part, I mean, if I were to ask most of you guys, what would you think of Detroit, or what are some words that you guys think of when you hear the city of Detroit? Cars, okay. Corrupt, yeah. So a lot of times you'll hear crime. Yeah, Eminem, of course. But yeah, a lot of times you'll hear crime. You'll hear stuff like abandoned buildings, which there is still a lot of abandoned buildings. But there is. That's what it's amazing right now is. Yeah, the city is so big. Like if you actually look at the area of Detroit, it's 140 square miles, so it's just a huge chunk of land. But like this epicenter is like where all the big high-rise buildings are, and there was a lot of buildings. There still is a lot of buildings that are empty. But essentially, what's happened is there's a guy named Dan Gilbert. I don't know if you guys are familiar with who he is, but he co-founded a company called Quicken Loans. And in 2010, he moved his company to Detroit, their core, and I think he brought 1,700 people to downtown Detroit. And when that happened, there was a lot of new jobs that got created. And then when I heard about what Tony Hsieh did, he brought Zappos here to Vegas, and I think it's about 1,200 jobs they brought, something like that. So I was like, okay, that's interesting, very similar parallels there. And then the thing is once he brought that in, he started to do a lot of other things. Buy buildings. I think there's about 30 buildings that were pretty much abandoned, got bought up and cleaned up. It's quite amazing because I'd walk the streets of Detroit now, and I'm not scared at all. Like everyone's like, "Oh, you scared? You think you're gonna get shot?" And I don't feel that way at all. There are places where you just don't go, but I think that's with any city that you just don't go to those locations. But the thing is when I walk the streets of Detroit today, I'm always seeing new things in the city that I've grown up in my entire life. Like, there'll be a building that just basically gets new windows and they power wash all the graffiti off, and it's like, whoa, like I didn't know that building was there. It's really, really cool. So the thing is there was a lot of different tech companies that started to come downtown with Gilbert's whole initiative that he's been doing. I think there's over 100 companies. They have this thing called the family of companies. It's the Quicken Loans family of companies. And they also brought, there's a venture capital called Detroit Venture Partners. And they're funding a lot of companies down in Detroit as well. And when they did that, they're having everyone come downtown, and they're creating all kinds of cool things, a lot like what's going on here at the downtown project. There's new restaurants, there's new living spaces. We got Uber and Lyft within the last 12 months, so that was really cool. And then we just found out that there's a thing called Punch Bowl Social. I know there's only a few locations in the States, but we just found out, we have another one coming in Detroit really soon. So there's a lot of new hip things that are happening, and it's really exciting to see these, all these new things happening in a city that really had a bad rap for a while, and not a lot of things was going on there. So what I just want to do is kind of share a little bit of like what I've been doing over the past couple years, because it's been really exciting. I've been working with startups that have been coming into the city, and when they come in, a lot of times they just have these new ideas, and they're trying to figure out what to do. So a lot like how to take their idea and turn it into a product is what they're really trying to do. So we basically help them do that, And it's been a lot of fun because we see different things and how everyone's trying to help everybody else. Like the whole, I was just talking to someone earlier today about the 3 C's that you have with the downtown project, and we basically have the same thing in Detroit. It's just we've never labeled it that. It's just everybody's all about helping everybody out. Like we do this, they do that. Everyone's recommending. I get emails. Oh, you should talk to this person. You should talk to this person. And we find ways to help out, do more events, and just like it's all about the community. And I've never felt that way about going to Detroit in the past. Now I'm in Detroit like every single day, and even on the weekends now. Like my birthday was just last week, and I spent the entire weekend going bar hopping. I did something called feather bowling, which is like only one place in the United States that has it, and it's in Detroit, so that was a lot of fun. But it's just one of those things where you start to look at Detroit from a different light. Like you're used to hearing, at least from even me growing up, Detroit was, okay, be careful. And my parents were like, why are you going to a concert in Detroit on a Friday at 10 o'clock? You just, be careful. But now they don't even question me even being down there. They thought it was a little weird when I first decided to move down there, but it's changed a lot. And it's kind of like when I look at Vegas, like me growing up, and even when I would come to Vegas, it was all about the strip and the gambling and how late can you stay up at night and still survive. That's kind of how I always thought of Vegas. But then I came out for this the Tech Cocktail Week, and it just gave me a whole nother picture and perspective of Vegas. And I think that's really, really cool. I really like what you guys are doing here. And it's just amazing because I look at it now and I'm like, okay, so we had Quicken Loans come in downtown. They brought in 1,700 jobs. I just looked up a stat earlier. They said there's about 13,000 jobs now created because of that in the city, just like the downtown Detroit area. So, all things considered, when you think of, Vegas, where they brought the 1,200, Zappos, and then you have all these different companies that are getting funded here, the parallels are just amazingly similar. And I could see something where, we'll start to see more people coming downtown here. And I heard you guys are getting a grocery store, and everyone's really excited about that. We made a big deal when Whole Foods came in. It was like big parties, Whole Foods, and like, oh yeah, we finally can go grocery store without having to drive, 20 minutes outside of the city. So that was really exciting to see that kind of stuff. And it's like I said, I can see it happening here. That stuff happened back in 2010 when they brought the company to Detroit. So it's been 4 years now. And like I said, more and more buildings are being built up. And it's just, you're kind of rechanging the whole perspective of what you think of Detroit. And what you guys are doing here in Vegas is a lot in the same way, where when you look at the area where it's being done, I was curious just to learn a little bit more about this area, because I know, like I said, the south side, and I haven't actually been to this area. It's the first time I've actually been on Fremont Street, to be exact. And I looked it up, and I didn't know this, but like Fremont Street was the first paved road in Las Vegas. So it was like the foundation of the city, And I just thought that was really cool. And I was like, now you guys are rebuilding this whole nother ecosystem in that same foundation, and that's really exciting, and it gets me excited. So I hope to find myself in Vegas more often than I do, and not just to put money on a blackjack or whatever I'm doing. So that's really cool. So that's really all I wanted to share with you guys, because I thought it's really cool to see different things that are happening, where I'm kind of working and living, and then I come over here and I'm like, wow, there's just a lot of synergies that are happening. I thought we should definitely find ways to help each other out. Like Detroit can learn from Vegas, and Vegas can learn from Detroit in very similar ways. So I want to open it up to some questions if you guys have any questions about Detroit or what we do. Yes?
Wait.
What the heck is feather bowling?
Sure. So feather bowling, it's like an old peasant game that they used to play in Belgium. And essentially what it was is like it's just dirt, and they would roll wheels of cheese and try to land it on a feather. So think of bocce ball with cheese. So it's pretty cool. But we don't play with cheese anymore. What we do is we use wooden wheels, because it'd probably smell if they had I can only imagine what it would be if we tried to play authentically. But it's still true to the tradition, where it's still the dirt and sawdust is what they kind of lay down for the alleys. And it's a lot of fun. They have like over 100 beers at this location, so everyone just gets really trashed, and you're just rolling these wheels of cheese on feathers. It's crazy fun. It's a good way to spend your birthday. So.
That sounds like something we should bring to downtown Vegas.
Yes. Location number 2. Yes. Other questions?
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
So have you seen any specific themes in the startups who are starting to pop up around Detroit?
Themes, yeah. So the biggest thing that with the startups I've noticed is there's a lot of B2B, so business to business sales. They're focusing, for instance, there's one startup that recently just got some funding called Chalkfly, and what they do is they basically have office supplies, and with Quicken Loans being such a large company right in the city, they're basically found a way to sell to Quicken Loans, like, hey, we'll do all of your office supplies. And they also do a thing where they give back to the community. So they give back up to 5%. It might be a little off, but something like that. And they give it back to the schools because schools need office supplies. So they do something cool like that. And I thought that was really cool. But a lot of the companies I'm seeing is a lot of B2B right now. I haven't seen too many like Spunky or even like the consumer products that you might see on like the Bay Area that comes out of that area. But I think they're starting to see more and more for sure. The quality of startups is really increasing as well. Like when I first started doing I do some mentoring with an accelerator in Detroit, and when the first few companies came in, there was a lot of unknown questions that people were trying to answer. But now we have these companies that are coming in. Even like we had a company that came from Chicago, so we're starting to see people come from outside of the Detroit area, like from other cities. We have people from Cleveland that are coming in, and they're all coming to Detroit because they want to build a company there as well because of everything that we're doing in the city. So, cool. You have a question back here? So I actually don't have too much of an answer to that because I don't know.
The question was about homelessness.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, there are still homeless people that we see on the streets, and it's not any different than I would see in any other city. I mean, they're still there. I mean, there's still homeless shelters. I know that I don't know of any like 2.0 homeless shelter that's going on. So I don't have much of an answer other than that. Yep, you're welcome.
Is there something that you're working on yourself? Like I think it was like an app or something.
Sure. Yeah. So thanks for bringing that up. That's awesome. That's really good. Yeah, so I can give you a quick run. So I have a company called Amber Detroit. That's been my business for the past 2 years where we help startups. And one of the things is it's a lot of fun to see other people achieve their dreams by helping them build their ideas. But don't you want to build your own idea? And that's basically what we did. We built this app called Spin Card. And essentially what it is, it's a mobile app that allows you to exchange contact information. But it's all about the face. So the idea is let's shuffle through the faces of the people that we met from the night before. And yeah, so that's basically what our little side project that we're doing right now. It's called Spin. Yeah, download it, check it out. iPhone, Android. I mean, yeah, why not? I'll pitch it out. So, cool. Any other questions? Yes.
So I'm actually originally from Cleveland.
Oh, awesome.
And I'm a big Dan Gilbert fan because he's doing some
cool.
revitalization there. I'm sure
Yes,
you know.
yes.
What are some of the positives and negatives of having a startup in Michigan?
Sure, that's a good question. Yeah, so positives and negatives I think are a lot of the same. I always say like you have let me see if I get the word right, the small fish or big fish in a small pond. That's what you have right now. So you don't have a lot of big names right now like you would have in like a San Francisco type area. So when you're trying to make connections, it feels like it does take a little bit longer to kind of get things moving. But I think it's increasing. Like I'm seeing that kind of get better. And it kind of that same thing plays well in the fact that when you are doing something like with what we're doing with Spin Card, where we're sponsoring a lot of local events, so where more and more people are starting to make bigger connections because there's not as many people that are in these networking groups. So it's like I said, the positive and negative to me is like the same problem, or the same concept. So yeah, cool. More questions? All right.
All right.
Thanks
Thank
a
you
lot,
so
guys. I
much.
appreciate that.